10 million hryvnias in 3.5 hours have been raised by showman and philanthropist Serhiy Prytula for a bayraktar drone. Stefania from the precarpathian region has sheltered 25 people from Kharkiv, Kyiv and Kryvyi Rih in her house. Social networks are spreading jokes that there is still no nuclear warhead in Ukraine just because nobody has asked volunteers for it yet. Today's episode, as you might have found out, is dedicated to Ukrainian volunteers. This is UA, the day that we survived. Ukrainian journalists have come together to create it with real people who record themselves and send us their recordings. Since the Revolution of Dignity in 2014, Kyivans have demonstrated their amazing self-organization to the whole country. Every day, thousands of citizens came to Hryvnias voluntarily, ready to provide free assistance to the protesters. They organized field kitchens, set up tents, provided medical and psychological help. In a few days, dozens of volunteer initiatives and internet projects have emerged, all aimed the same, to change Ukraine to become a democratic European state. After the annexation of Crimea and the beginning of the war in Donbass, the main area of volunteering was helping the Ukrainian army and the wounded. 70% of volunteers were involved in such activities.
Hey, my name is Katerina Masliak, and I'm volunteering from the first day of the war. So my volunteering started exactly on February 24th. Of course, after I was saved, not on the last floor of the building. Once I came to my parents' house, I realized, okay, I don't know how to use the gun, and I'm not a doctor yet, but I do know how to volunteer, and I kind of know how to fundraise the money. So that's what I started to do. And of course, my main goal is not only fundraising, but that's a huge part of my volunteering. And I guess we close a lot of needs of soldiers with the fundraising we do. So I realized, okay, I know how to do this, and I'm gonna try. And I got first needs from the soldiers that they needed some things for shoes to make them unwet and power banks and something like that. And the amount of money wasn't super huge, but I started from that, and then I moved on to bigger amounts of money, and it worked out. So from the start of the war till this day, I have fundraised more than $50,000, which is around more than 2 million hryvnias. Anything that's not super huge amount of money, but I think that's a lot for just one person. So yeah, and I keep volunteering because of people. When I see that unity and belief that we're gonna win, and there are actually people who are donating money to each fundraise I do, and that's just amazing to me. And it doesn't matter if they send us $100 or $5,000, but they keep donating, and it's amazing. And I have friends from US, and they are Ukrainians, but they live in USA or in Canada, and they keep donating money starting from day one till today. And I guess this is just unbelievable. So that's why I don't give up. And when I see those people who share reposts, and they help me to find the right people who are willing to donate or can donate, that's just something amazing, I guess. This is not easy to finish fundraising and to do it, but I wouldn't call it super hard. I have some strategy, and it's working. So when I fundraise the money, I do this not constantly. I do this for exact need. For example, the soldiers text me that they need a car, and I find the car, I know the right amount of money that we need, and that's when I start fundraising. So once I know, okay, we need like 5,000 euros, then I start my fundraising. And I think that's why it's working, because it's easier for people to donate money when they know where those money go.
Sometimes people wonder, why raise money for helmets and body armor? It is the state who has to provide the army, isn't it? Ukrainian writer Andrew Lubka answered a similar question from a foreign journalist. We are the state. Every Ukrainian considers the needs of the front line to be his or her own needs, and tries to meet them without orders, procedures, or conferences as quickly and efficiently as possible, Andrew said. For example, the territorial defense forces we mentioned in previous episodes are a new part of the armed forces. Its material and technical base is still forming. However, the fighters are already performing combat tasks. Due to the large number of people willing to fight, the authorities do not have enough time to cover all needs in uniform, means of defense, transport, etc. In addition, waiting for the tenders results to purchase the armor can cost someone his life. The available equipment can be also damaged or destroyed in the battle. Many citizens consider it their duty to contribute to the fight against the occupier, because we know that defeat in this war means threat to all we have and all we love. There are large volunteer organizations in Ukraine that operate millions of dollars, as well as hundreds of thousands of small ones in every town or village. The largest charity fund, Come Back Alive Foundation, raised about $114 million in donations and another $24 million in cryptocurrency. Many people find themselves volunteering because this job helps to overcome stress. Dmytro is the chief choreographer of the IvanoFrankivsk drama theater. During the war, the theater became a center for humanitarian aid, and its employees and all comers became volunteers. Dmytro recorded audio for us from their headquarters.
На початку війни я почав
At the start of the war, I began volunteering myself. My wife and I raised money and bought medicines. And these medicines were sent where they were needed. As I work in the theater, we were called to a meeting, and this is where the whole story began. We have a lot of areas of work, really. One of branches is to help evacuees. We help people every day, which is probably 150 people per day. Plus there are other areas such as therapy, game therapy, and we had psychology in the beginning. Initially, there have been psychologists who worked with us. In addition, therapy for children is still being provided. We have 2 classes every day, and we got excellent teachers who are internally displaced people themselves, and we got our actors. The next branch is aiding the military with ammunition and food. And another work area is to help people who now live in the occupied parts of the country, and not only in the occupied ones, but also where hostilities are taking place. Our task is to work every day to end the war sooner, because it seems to me that the human factor is the most important, and human factor helps us to resist. The human factor. Only the human factor. It means that the more people who can take responsibility and help are there, the sooner the war will end, and everyone can help in their field.
Military aid is not the only one that matters. Some touching things, psychological support and help are also valuable.
I chat with military troops. I read their kilometer-long posts where they write to me about how grateful they are to me and how they are touched by the fact that besides vests and tactical things, we also send some chocolates, sausages and Easter cakes to them, and they just... And I understand that such things are what they await the most, because that is something that gives you coziness, comfort and feeling like home, right? And when a person is taken care of the way he or she is, no matter who they are, when you take care of the person seriously, then you really feel happiness. And after such posts and such stories, you feel like you have been lifted. Of course, as for the evacuees, they show the photos of their apartments, which were bombed and destroyed into pieces. And I think the most important thing in our center is to listen to everyone. Not just, okay, let's be quick and then we leave. No, each of us will ask, will be curious, and everyone will tell their story. Actors are working here, choreographers are working here, so do I. These are just those people who can listen, who can hear. And this is the most important thing, because a person does not always even have many wants. Well, of course, he or she wants some food, some hygiene of medicine, but it's very important to be listened, to be heard, to understand through the eyes that you empathize, not just get away, we are in a hurry, we are big help center. There were people who came to me, well, those were our actors, and they said, Dmitro, well, there is a woman who is very negative in her thoughts, very, very negative, can you talk to her? I'm like, yeah, okay, I came and I saw a person so electrified. Well, of course, after the things that happened to her, everyone was like an enemy to this woman. And when I talked to her through our communication, I found out the issue and helped her. But not just answering at the end, no, I listened, I heard her, resolved something, listened and heard. With such of sequence, I touched her heart, and how she comes every day, watches our plays, rejoices right there. Well, a completely different person, completely different. Also, you cannot call them like that, because animals are beautiful creatures. Well, those non-humans who don't understand the purpose of their life and existence, what they have done, we must do opposite. We have to show that we are a peaceful nation. Also, we can fight back for our land and for God. But we want peace, we want culture, we want to identify ourselves as Ukrainians. If we have such goals, values, which unfortunately those non-humans who attacked us do not have, if we continue to act in such a way, then everyone will feel that they want to live in this country, that they want to live with these people. If we only act aggressively, then it will only generate aggression. And the most important thing in our center, which I see, is the law as our value. Even if we have nothing, we remain open and communicate. Therefore, we need to work hard on different fronts. The most important thing is the cultural front, because the identity of Ukrainians will protect Ukrainians themselves.
Victoria from Kharkiv has been engaging in tourism. For 17 years, she has been sending people on vacations. Evacuated to Ivano-Frankivsk, she also joined volunteers in the drama theatre.
I came to Ivano-Frankivsk in early March, probably on March the 8th, because it was unbearable to sit in Kharkiv, and I had nothing to do there. So I went here, hoping that I could be useful. My son helped me to reach the city and turn back to Kharkiv himself. He's volunteering there now. He also helps with what he can. Searching here and there, I saw this volunteer center. Now I sort out humanitarian aid, work with people who requires help. People come and ask, what do we have? We tell what we have, but also share, give psychological help. When people hear that I also from Kharkiv, they start to complain to me, and I complain to them. We hug, we talk, it's like this. It was difficult to decide to leave my home, to leave my friends behind. Everyone who could flee just fled. Yes, men stayed there because they are helping Kharkiv as much as they can. I really like the team where I ended up. Well, I'm such an old woman, you see, but I ended up in such a young team, and I'm so grateful that I'm feeling younger here. Different things have happened to people around the country. Some come here, and they're grateful too. People are different. I like working with people because I have always been working with them. You can support someone with a word or with your own example. That's how it is.
Volunteering is not only about helping those in need, but also about feeling belonged to a community, feeling united with people from different places, different professions.
A woman came. She had 3 children, and each and every one of us wanted to give her something. You know, in general, one person serves one person, but we all came together here. She cried. She thanks us so much. And when she left, we were crying like babies, because it's very difficult. What is happening in our country, it is very difficult. But we all know that victory will come soon. It will be soon. Because we pray. Because we believe in our armed forces. I come here each day when the humanitarian aid center is open. Every day because I live nearby and I can't stand. I really want to come here. And there were holidays. And we had a weekend, and today, when I run here, God, I realized how much I missed everyone. Such people are here, and you know, I went to a play here, and I understand that these young girls who come here between rehearsals, help here, come back in the evening and carry it off the stage. They are so cool. I have colleagues here. We buy tickets. We come to the plays. We see almost the same people attending the plays too, and everyone is so excited. God, what are they? But they actually don't know who they are on the backstage. They only see the actors from the stage and say, God, they are so talented. Well, you know, I have seen a lot of different performances because of my work. In my arsenal, there are 53 countries, and I love theater. But what I see here is such creativity, such production, such costumes, stage, all this. They are well done. They are really cool.
Mark is 25. Before the war, he used to call himself a free farmer. He was building a hut in the Carpathians, growing a garden and telling people about it in his blog.
Hi there, my name is Mark, I'm 25, I live in Ukraine, and all my life I were traveling around the world, planting trees in my property and building a little clay house. It was my art project. Also I were doing social medias and YouTube about that. And when the full invasion, full-scale war started, Russian aggression against Ukraine, I decided to come back. I was in another country. I decided to come back and started to help here. And the best what I could do in that moment is use my YouTube filming skills to tell the stories about other people and show to the world, also with English subtitles, how Ukrainians strongly resisting to this hard Russian aggression. And only one thing what I learned, it's if we all together gonna go through this and everyone will do something literal for our victory, we will got it. This is the example of all the nations who got their victory in their previous wars, and I think our victory is coming if we will do our stuff together, because if not, it's gonna be hard and long process. But if we gather and if we really do, I believe I see in the eyes of people for who I help, for who I film, it's people who receive humanitarian aid, people who cook for refugees, people who do medical care, people who delivering the stuff. There is so much people now in Ukraine doing great stuff, and I cannot live with thought that these people is working and they cannot they cannot be heard and seen by the world and by other people. So I see it as my mission, just for free go and film how other people volunteering. And this is my investment in our future. This is my volunteering for our victory, for Ukraine, for our people. And I'm thankful for everyone who watching me, sharing me and listening me, and in general who help Ukraine. This is something what also your investment in the future, because now every one of us in this planet should feel ourselves a bit Ukrainian. That's it. Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes.
Alexei also works on the information front. Sometimes this work seems routine, but the man has found his way of consolation to continue to do what he does.
During the first month, or a little over a month after February 24th, I was in the south of Chernihiv region, in that part of the region which was not occupied. All sorts of ammunition and rockets flew above our head in different directions, and some planes were shot down. But there was no occupation. From the first days of war, I was engaged in monitoring social media and Telegram channels for different communities. After that, various artists and the media used this data as much as they could and needed in order to describe to foreign audiences what was happening in Ukraine. For the first 3 weeks, these tasks seemed very routine because every day there was the same monitoring work. And then we got a dog. Her name is Fukuyama. She comes from Irpin. It's a cute little dog which now weighs 7 kilos. And we go for walks with her every day. It's like a permanent pill with serotonin or oxytocin. A pill that walks constantly, entertains you, and makes you leave the house, and it's much more pleasant to spend time with her. In short, life with a dog is much happier.
Volunteers help to bring Ukrainian victory in the war closer, so their lives are automatically in danger. The Russian military shot dead volunteers who were taking aid to an animal shelter in Bucha, Kyiv region. Near Severodonetsk, the occupiers killed volunteer Alexander Kononov. He was shot dead in a wheelchair in his own house. The shelling killed volunteers delivering humanitarian aid in the Luhansk region, and several volunteers were killed by Russians near Chernihiv. At the risk of their lives, Ukrainians evacuated their fellow citizens from besieged Mariupol, occupied Kherson and Berdyansk. Not because someone ordered from above or promised a reward, but because Russia's war against Ukraine affects everyone, and everyone is fighting back. We ask you not to forget about the bravery of Ukrainian people. And if you feel like donating money to the Ukrainian army, sending humanitarian aid, supporting Ukrainians abroad, or participating in demonstrations in your country against Russia's war crimes, please do it without hesitation. We need Ukraine to win, and not just for ourselves, but for the sake of the whole civilized world.